by the barn where the stories grow, under the sun where the warm winds blow. A sanctuary where the hearts unite. Come join the love in the golden light. Love lives here where the open skies sing. Every soul finds a place to cling. Join us today, feel the warmth inside, in the Barnside Chat where the love won't hide. Whispers of care in the gentle breeze, laughter that dances among the trees. Every life matters, every heart's a flame. Together we gather, no one's the same. Love lives here where the open skies sing. Every soul finds a place to cling. Join us today, feel the warmth inside, in the Barnside Chat where the love won't hide. Skies sing, every soul finds a place to cling. Join us today, feel the warmth inside, in the Barnside Chat where the love won't hide.
Hello friends, hello, welcome. Great to see everybody. I think it's connected here. The comments have not started to come in yet, so I'm not really sure, but we're here at Happily Ever After Farm Sanctuary. Welcome everybody to Heath's Barnside Chat. My name is Derek, I'm Executive Director and one of the co-founders here at the farm. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever, oh there they start to come. Okay, great. Hey Mary, good to see you. Hello Cheryl over at you on YouTube, and Sylvia. Thanks for coming and tuning in today. It's really great to see all of you. We've got a full program for you today, and today we're going to talk about the flood zone fundraiser and why it's been a much slower start than we could have hoped for, but also how a $6,000 Match Monday could completely change that. And we have some really fun enrichment emporium moments to share with you, including chickens playing the xylophone, goats going full parkour mode, the ducks were in their mud buckets, and a certain cat named Ricky got into a bag of popcorn. We've got resident updates, of course, facilities updates, including the feed, rocket ship, silo update that's coming along. And of course, we'll open up the magic rainbow bag to your questions. But before we can get into any of that, I wanted to start with something that's been sitting with me for a few days. And last Barnside Chat, I ended with asking you a question, and that question was, what is one thing that animals have taught you about kindness or patience? And I read all of your remarks and your comments across the multiple social media networks, and I reread them again. And I guess what struck me wasn't what you said, but it's how similar it all feels. And you talked about slowing down, about earning trust, about showing up. Even when it's hard, you show up. And it's about all of the small things and the quiet things and the things that no one sees. And it reminded me of something that we don't talk enough about here, and it's because people think about sanctuary work, sometimes they think about these big moments, the rescues, the transformations, the stories that are easy for you to connect with. But the truth is, most of what we do here, it's quiet work. It's slow work. It's repetitive work. And it's showing up every single day. And doing the things that don't always look exciting, but they matter the most. And I guess that brings me up to something that we need to talk about today, and that last week we launched our Flood Zone fundraiser, and I'll be honest with you, it's off to a slower start than I guess we could have hoped for. And I get it. We know that it's not a shiny project. There's no, before and after glow up. There's no single resident that you can point to and say, this is who you're helping. It's drainage, it's mud, it's water management. But it's also one of the biggest risks right now that is currently facing the property. And it affects safety, it affects accessibility, and it affects the day-to-day lives of the residents and the people that care for them. And this week we had something really generous happen. We had a $6,000 Match Monday donor come forward to help motor this fundraiser along. And I guess what I'm hoping that we can do today is help close the gap on that fundraiser and help push it along a little bit today with the Match Monday. Because this is one of those moments where the work is not very exciting, but it's essential. And if there's anything that your answers reminded me of this week, it's that kindness isn't always that big, visible thing. And sometimes it's about choosing to care about the thing that isn't always easy to connect with. And I'm really hoping that you'll connect with the Protect the Barn Flood Zone fundraiser and help us close the gap on the $25,000 fundraiser. It's Match Monday, and that's an incredible thing for our organization. Match Monday means that we're gonna raise a lot of money today, and it's all to go towards keeping the barn safe from the flood zone. And as you can see with our various pictures that we have out there, you can see that the flood zone is knocking on the doors to the north entrance there and everything that connects the barn. So I really hope I can get you to connect with the backhoe equipment that is needed, and the skid steer equipment, and the dump trucks upon dump trucks upon dump trucks of gravel and drainage hose that is needed. Okay, I tried to get you excited about gravel, so let's carry on with the rest of the program. Let's jump into some Enrichment Emporium moments that happened this week on the farm. There's a lot of them, really cute moments, including this one. Chickens playing the xylophone. I love it. They're in the greenhouse, enjoying their amazing chicken life. All thanks to you. We have a bucket full of Enrichment Emporium items for the chickens to play with, and they get put out and rotated through. I just love this. And enrichment doesn't just mean xylophone, it could also mean food. So from time to time, different types of food get brought in, fresh produce for the week. And this week, the birds benefited the most from the fresh fruit and vegetables that were brought in. Thank you so much to the volunteers who brought that in, chopped it all up, and got it all ready. And thanks to Trish here, who has brought the xylophone video and the chickens some joy for that moment. Okay, here's another moment that happened. We got some ducks playing in the mud. I mean, who doesn't like to see ducks playing in the mud? We got Norris, And we have Herb and Vonnie. I didn't know that ducks really like to play in the mud, but since caring for ducks, I remember Moby playing in the mud, and they make that noise. There's a really like an ASMR moment there where they are nibbling on the mud. Oh, an Amazon package arrived this week. Thank you so much to that kind donor for sending this ball for the goats. We now have it hung up in a certain area like a punching bag, and there are other balls on there as well that we'd like to add to the other stalls. But for now, one ball is great. The goats were enjoying the warmer weather, and we have some climbing equipment out in the south yard that they were enjoying. There's a video that was posted a few days ago, and the goats were zooming around, and they are certainly enjoying this spring-like weather. It is spring now. The first day of spring happened, and the days are getting longer, and the goats are certainly enjoying it. Time to time, we go and clip some cedar branches, and we bring those out for the goats and sheep. And this week, Trish went and cut cedar branches, and here's Jeannie Bean, whom you all love and adore, munching on some fresh cedar branches. And of course, Abraham and Catherine weren't far behind. They got their own trough as well. But there's cedar trees on the property that we're able to trim from. And the cedar branches actually provide a natural parasite, it's a natural anti-parasite that when nibbling on it, that it helps out their digestion and their rumen. So who knew? Enrichment and health. Brindleface and Mercy playing with their tarp. It's tarp. Oh, you're having a hard time hearing me as well. Oh no. Uh-oh. Did I lose my mic? Oh no, it's still there. How's it going? You cannot hear you. Uh-oh. Let me try putting it on the front there. There we go. Brindle had super fun time playing with his tarp, and we had this big huge tarp that we purchased and then cut up into smaller tarps. So thanks to you, we were able to provide tarps and treat balls and cedar branches, and we caught this moment with the little stinker bean curled up next, leg over or hoof over hoof like that. So friggin' adorable. There's Eleanor with her not so big teddy bear anymore. She is growing and growing and growing. All right, those are all the Enrichment Emporium moments that we were able to capture this week. There were many more, but that's all the time we have for sharing. So let's just jump right into the resident updates, and there are a lot of them. And we see your questions every single time we post about them, and we thank you so much for asking about them, and that really shows your love towards them. And you follow their stories all week long, but let's jump into the resident updates for today. Here we go. First resident update. Yep, Ricky is eating popcorn. I came into the lunchroom day before yesterday. Or no, it was yesterday. Oh gosh, all the days are flowing in together. Anyways, he had his mitts inside of a popcorn bag and was helping himself. And I thought that was hilarious. He loves popcorn. Who knew that? He's such a funny boy. Abigail, whom you've been asking questions about, her sore back. This is the chiropractor in seeing Abigail. And Abigail was presenting like this, walking with a high arched back and some back pain. We gave her medication, some pain meds, and I'm happy to report that Abigail is now running out and has joined back to their herd. They seem to be a little more comfortable. However, they are walking a little bit more differently than they had before. And I'm suspecting that we'll see more improvement as time goes on. But Abigail's doing great. She's back with her herd. Oh, here's somebody who got a little nip on their leg. That's Ray's back right leg. And you can see that somebody has bit him there. So we're cleaning that up and making sure. That's just a small wound. So we're used to seeing small bite wounds. But we'll be sure that to keep an eye on that and keep it clean. Here's Nicole with, you know this duck. That's Kramer. And Kramer, we've been tracking a bumble on Kramer's foot. And caretaker Nicole has been providing laser treatments to the bottom of the foot, daily soakings, wraps, making sure that Kramer has some pain meds on board, because that definitely looks a little bit painful. But I read a note the other day that the bumble is looking much better. And here's caretaker Nicole wrapping up Kramer's foot every single day. So fingers crossed that Kramer's foot is almost all done, all of those treatments, because that takes a lot of caregiver time. But that's what we're here to do. We're here to help out the residents every single day, and if that means caring for Kramer's bumblefoot every single day, we will do that. Last week, you may remember I spoke about caretaker Nicole finding teeth. She has a very good eye for seeing teeth, displaced teeth, amongst all of the straw and hay and everything else that comes along. She's able to find teeth, and she found another piece. This is not the same tooth as last week. This is yet another piece, and we don't know who it's from. We can suspect that this is a broken piece of a tusk, and we'll be checking out inside the mouths of the residents to see if we can find a match. Something kind of fun. We started labeling the wraps and the meds that are all wrapped up into these med wraps, and there is a edible marker, an edible ink marker, and I guess they use this in bake shops and whatnot, and we saw it on Amazon, and we thought that'd be a great idea to be able to label the wraps when you have them all together. And if you have to set them down, sometimes it can get confusing, or you pre-make them ahead of time and you go back to them, and just to be sure that you're feeding out the right meds to the right person. So we're using this edible ink marker now to write on the wraps, so that there's absolutely no chance of mismanaging that. So that's super neat. This week, 2 eggs were found in the same spot. Check them out. We got a brown egg and we got a white egg. The brown egg is huge, and it's the season for laying in the coop, and it's also the season for monitoring reproductive diseases. And the chickens, the hens, they receive this hormone implant that stops them from laying eggs if we suspect that there is something awry. So like a soft egg presenting, a misshapen egg, an enormous egg. So these are all signs that there's something going on that could mean reproductive harm. So they use an implant, and that stops them from laying. So I suspect to see more notes about more eggs being found and the need for more implants. Routine maintenance. Escalade had his hooves trimmed. The farrier was here this week and trimmed Escalade and BJ's hooves. And typically we bring them in the barn, and caretaker Chris has an amazing relationship with both of them, and BJ and Escalade trust him enough to put on their halters and walk them around. You've seen the short videos posted online, but the farrier was in looking at their feet, and nothing notable there, but they'll be back in about 6 weeks to do it all again. Here's a cute photo of Jeannie and Emma, who are sleeping side by side, and they got their morning dinners side by side. You know, we've been tracking Jeannie Bean's old age and these marks on the back of Jeannie's legs. You can see that they're not, there's no open sores or anything like that, and it's just the lack of hair, and the skin is very calloused, and they've been wrapping them as needed and keeping them clean. And that's all part of senior care. I mean, if senior care means you got to offer 4 different varieties of feed in the morning to make sure that they're getting their calories, that's what we do. And it's our honor and our joy to do those things, to figure out what it is that Jeannie needs so that she gets her calories and her rest, and also has plenty of healing time. So here's Jeannie with 4 different types of feed in front of her. I think I can see the one on the farthest right is beet pulp, and then the next one would be grain, and then it looks like we've got grass pellets, and then I actually can't see in that first bowl on the left, but it doesn't matter. We'll offer them whatever it is that we can in the morning, and if they don't want it, we'll give them more time and we'll try something different. But Jeannie doesn't have an appetite problem. She switches it up a lot and needs a lot of time to contemplate what it is they're going to eat. So Jeannie is doing okay. Nothing more to report on there. Okay, routine hoof maintenance went on this week with April, and April walked right in. She walked right in the shoot and squeeze, and we didn't have to coerce her in any way. We just opened the door and she walked right in. It was amazing. We didn't normally we have to give up a carton of cookies or a bunch of peanut butter, but she walked right in this time and caught us all off. Caught us by surprise. We lifted her up, and before we do anything, we always scrape the nails and take pictures of them. So here's the front left hoof at the beginning, and then here's the front left hoof at the end of the trim. Just to give you a before and after shot, you can see that the hoof horn has been brought back considerably. This is a really good shot of the before and after. I'm happy that we can show it to you like this, but it's not painful, the hoof trims. It is asking for a lot of patience out of the resident, and sometimes they don't want us using the power tools, so we have to use hand tools. And this is, I'm using a hand rasp here, but we were able to get a really nice rounded hoof horn structure on April. And there's some problem spots on the bottom of her feet, which, April's lived a long, full life, and she is by no means a spring chicken. We put her back down on the ground, and here you can see her coming out. You can see the white tips. Looks kind of like a French manicure. And she's a bit stiff coming out of there. It was a 45-minute appointment that she let us do. And then she started to get fussy and tell us that it was time to go. And Brindle was waiting for his mama. He came to check on her a few times, but we let April back, and she was,
Brindle kept coming over to visit her.
she was no big miraculous change of her walking, but we're hoping that it provides some comfort there by getting those hoofs back. So there they go. There's Sammy's family right beside them. Sammy's family's moved, and I can tell you more about that in the facilities update. April's family, oh, it's so cute. I love seeing 4 black bums together like this. The 2 black bums on the left are top part of the screen. That's Hercules and Mercy. And then touching bums, we got Brindle and April there. I love coming across seeing them all together. And that's a perfect time to talk about Mr. Brindle. Mr. Brindle has been a little uneasy on his feet, as you know, the past 2 years we have been monitoring him and thinking, we didn't even think that he would make it from Campbellville Farm to here when he was presenting with some of these, him swaying and his mobility issues that were going downhill. But Brindle's been holding on, and this past week there was a lot of notes about Brindle, losing his back balance and sitting down or falling down, but Brindle keeps getting back up again, and sometimes he needs to take a couple of steps dragging, but then he pulls himself up, and we're watching very close because we want to make sure that we're not taking Brindle through anything that he can't go through, and we're monitoring his pain and monitoring his place in the herd and monitoring his appetite and how much he's showing up. And, Brindle doesn't have a showing up problem. His body is definitely giving out before his mind is. But we'll keep you posted on everything that is Brindle related, everything that is April's family related. And that's this is senior care. This is senior sanctuary care. And we're treating this like a nursing home where all of the animals have individual files and they all have individual needs. And this is the individualized care that you've all come to know here at the farm. And it's an absolute honor to be able to provide that. Here's Brindle with his mouth wide open. And this shot is a great shot. You can see the tips of his teeth. Those bottom tusks have been removed. Those shanks, those very sharp teeth. And this is a great shot showing that this is like 3 or 4 days after he got those tips removed. But we were unable to get an after shot, but him yawning here is a perfect shot to show you that his teeth are getting short. There's been lots of running out in the field moments of sanctuary work where you run out into the field because someone's laying down and they're just snoozing, but the thought comes to mind. You think, oh my gosh, they're dead. But BJ and Escalade were both just laying out in the field, both laying down, which I've never seen them both doing at the same time, and I'm happy that this got captured. Here's another thing I'm happy got captured, a white butt a big white butt. Sammy's big white butt. I don't know what it is about pig butts, but I love seeing them rooting through straw, and you can't see anything else but a pig butt. Okay, we're going to do some facilities updates. Here we go. We got the silo, the feed silo. Here's Kevin installing some components inside at the bottom, taking another step closer to getting this silo filled up. And Sammy's rocket ship will let you know as soon as it's all filled up and working. There's a few more steps that have to go into getting that assembly all put together and to actually get it put into use, but Kevin took a few more steps on it this week. Baby Eleanor broke out of their quarantine space. They are a big pig now and pushing the boundaries of their quarantine space. So we've moved them to a big pig stall. It's all happening so fast. She's getting so big so quickly. So she let us know it was time to move to the big girl stall by literally breaking out. And she was so pleased with herself. And whenever she escapes, which she is constantly charging the gates to get out when you open them, she runs around. She's so pleased. She goes to see the goats and sheep and scurries all around. But we're trying to limit her interactions with the pigs right now because she can stick her heads through the gates and we don't want anything bad to happen. We're cleaning up, getting ready for Sammy's cottages to arrive, and that means we're moving about 150 cans of their straw. This is their winter bed coming to an end, and we're so grateful for the volunteers that came together and removed the entire bed. We used the quad and the tractor, and back and forth, getting it all cleaned up. Because we're putting 2 new cottages there. You helped us raise funds for those cottages, and they were set to arrive on Saturday, but there was a delay in their delivery, and they're not getting delivered till Wednesday. So we'll keep you posted on that. But for now, the area is all cleaned up. Thank you so much to the volunteers. We couldn't do any of this work without you. I can't imagine having to clean up that area on my own. Imagine that. I'd still be doing it now. If you'd like to join the volunteer team, you can head on over to happilyeverester.ca and click on volunteer, and we'd love to have you come out and help us because there's a lot of cleanup to do. There's jobs like that, and then there's jobs like this where I got to come to work with a spear. Yeah, I got to make a well, let me just show you what we were doing with it. Kevin came and picked me up in the tractor, and I used my sky spear, and I was able to take down, this was the last day of winter, first day of spring, and we needed to take down all of the snowflakes. There are beautiful snowflakes hanging in the arena. And I used my sky spear and cut down all of the fishing wire, right down to the last one. And then we raked them all up. They kind of were like full of dust. They acted as air filters, but we needed to get them all cleaned up and out of the way so that we could have Sammy's buildings, those 2 brand new beautiful buildings. They're set to be delivered, and those needed to be out of the way. So the area is looking very clean, very ready to accept those 2 buildings. We're going to deliver them through the big roll-up door there. And one of them is blue and one of them is green, and not like primary color blue and green, but a muted variation of blue and green, and they're going to look beautiful there. Facilities updates. Things are getting more expensive because the price of gas. This is $1.74 per liter. We've got tractors that use diesel, and the quad uses diesel, so prices go up. I start to worry. I don't know how far it's going to go up. I'm sure everybody is experiencing the pinch here of the price of oil going through the roof, but we'll continue to, use donor dollars wisely, and I don't know how we can use less diesel and less fuel at this time. We're so dependent on it, as I'm sure is everybody else. But it's worth noting. Oh, the migrating birds continue to happen. Here are some swans returning. facilities updates. This is how we clean our big pen areas. The pigs choose where their bathroom is going to be, and you can see here that the pigs choose the 2 corners that are closest to us. And they use these pellets, these absorbent pellets that they put down in the bathroom areas. And volunteers did a terrific job gutting. This is April's area and making sure that April's toilet areas are nice and clean. If you'd like to come and make sure April's areas, the toilet areas, are nice and clean, you can come and volunteer with us this weekend. We have a public volunteer day. We would love to see you, and the link to the public tour date will appear by magic below. Okay. Holy. Wow, we have come such a long way. I'm scrolling through. I had a few more things that I wanted to do with you, but we are at the end of our time already. I wanted to talk to you. Last week I left you with the question, what is one thing that animals have taught you about kindness or patience? And your remarks were very familiar. They felt, the notes that you were hitting feel very familiar to some of the thoughts that I was having too. So thank you so much for everybody for answering that question. And if you'd like to read people's remarks, you can go. There is a live comment feed going right now where people, even to today, continue to fill that out. So thank you so much. All right, I guess we're going to have to wait for the magic rainbow bag because we are out of time. But before we part ways, I'd like to call attention that we are having an auction. One of Heath's famous live auctions. So we're going to have a silent auction, and then we're going to have a live auction. And we are looking for items. We need donations in order to have this auction. And so far, not very many donations have shown up to even have an auction. So I'm concerned that we won't be able to have this auction. So if you would like to help us out of this squeeze, and you have some original artwork that you would like to donate. Maybe you are an artist yourself and you can donate something or make something handmade. If you'd like to donate something to the auction, we would love to hear from you. Please, please, please email us, or you can comment here. You can private message us, anything like that. It's all good, but we need some. We can't have an auction without items. So this is our first auction. We typically do 2 auctions every year, one in the spring and one in the fall. And I'm really hopeful that we can pull this together and make sure that, oh gosh, the pigs are really loud right now. I'm really hoping that we'll be able to get this auction together in time. Because we rely on the funds from all of these fundraisers that we do. It's for the residents, for the hydro bill, for the heat bill, to pay the vet. All of these things come from these little fundraisers that we have. So I'm really hopeful that we'll hear from some of you this week. And yeah. Okay. Did we do it? I think we did it. We're way past our time, so I guess we should part ways now. That's all of our time that we have together. And I guess as we wrap up, I just want to come back to something that we started with, and that's that kindness isn't always the big visible thing. And most of the time, it's the quiet work. It's showing up and doing what needs to be done, even when it's not that exciting. And I guess that's what the Flood Zone Project is. It's not glamorous, but it keeps everyone safe. It keeps this place working day after day. So if you were thinking about helping, today's a meaningful day to do it. The $6,000 Match Monday means your kindness goes twice as far today. And how cool is that? Thank you for believing in a world that Esther helped show us, one where kindness reaches farmed animals too. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye, everyone.
Skies sing, every soul finds a place to cling. Join us today, feel the warmth inside in the Barnside Chat, where the love won't hide.